Hello, this is Dr. Eric Bricker, and thank you for watching A Healthcare Z. Today's topic is, why is selling in healthcare so hard? Now, the answer to that question is because selling in healthcare is a complex business-to-business sale. There! I've answered the question. Video over. Okay, no, not really, all right? Now, specifically, I'm talking about digital health companies and healthcare services companies, oftentimes that are selling to employers for their employer-sponsored health plans. And in order to understand why selling in that environment is so difficult, then we really need to go to two key concepts and the intersection of those two key concepts. And those two key concepts are from one, a fantastic book that I recommend everyone read that is called Hope Is Not a Strategy, about complex business-to-business sales, which says that, look, the importance of fit, risk, and price vary through the sales cycle. So the bottom, the x-axis is time, the y-axis is importance. So in the beginning of the sales cycle, if the solution is a fit is the issue. In the middle of the sales cycle, the risks associated with the solution is the issue. And then finally, at the end of the sales cycle, the price is really the issue. So you have to understand where in the sales cycle you are so you know which issue of fit, risk, and price to address. Okay, that is idea number one. Idea number two is from Miller Heiman. Many of you are familiar with their sales approach that says, look, when you're doing a complex business-to-business sale, you're not selling to a person, you're selling to a buying committee that has multiple stakeholders. And those stakeholders are the technical buyer, the outcome buyer, and the financial buyer. And so if we're to understand why selling in healthcare is so difficult, we need to understand that what is going on is you have the issues of fit, risk, and price occurring separately for each of the technical, outcome, and financial buyers. So what that means is essentially you create a tic-tac-toe 3x3 matrix with 9 boxes of what's going on. And oh, by the way, if you're in an in-person sales meeting or a virtual sales meeting, or shoot, these days sometimes it's a combination of in-person and virtual sales meetings, then you will have technical, outcome, and financial buyers who themselves, in their minds, are at different stages of the sales cycle. So you might have a technical person who's worried about fit, an outcome person who's worried about risk, and a financial person that's worried about price, all in the same meeting at the same time. What's that called? Hard. Okay, so we're going to literally go through each one of these boxes so that you know what's going on behind the scenes. So here you are, you're just in this sales meeting, but like what's actually going on in the people's brains in those sales meetings? Okay, first, the technical buyer, and that's going to be like the benefits manager or like the account manager at the brokerage or the benefits consulting firm. And so the issue of fit for them is, look, is this vendor competent at implementing and managing the program? Like, that's a fit issue for me. Okay, then the risk for the technical buyer is, listen, are the insurance carrier and the benefits administrator going to actually cooperate with the vendor? Because oftentimes it involves data feeds and all this sort of stuff. And if those folks don't cooperate, then that's a huge risk for the success of the solution. And then finally, the price. Now, the price for the technical buyer isn't the money, but it is the time. And so essentially, the technical buyer in their mind is like, look, do I have bandwidth to get this done? Do I even have motivation to get this done? Okay, now let's move on to the outcome buyer. So the outcome buyer is going to be like the director of benefits or the head of total rewards or the VP of HR. Really, they're sort of their role is to be, look, we have to have a benefits package that can attract and retain people. We're essentially the voice of the employees. So essentially the outcome buyers, they're sort of a proxy of the end user, of the health plan members, the employees and their family members themselves. Now, the fit issue for them is, look, does this solution actually improve employee and health plan member health? Does it improve their health? And does it improve their satisfaction? Does it make them happy? Okay? Then the risk is, well, number one for all these solutions is just low utilization. It's just like crickets. Okay, we put this solution out there and like there's no response. Nobody uses it. Or it's bad service, and people complain, and you get a bunch of noise around this. Okay, that's the risk issue for them. And then the price issue for them, notice they have to deal with their own team's bandwidth. So in their mind, they're like, I can't do this alone. I need my team to be able to get on this. Can I actually get my team to do this? Do they have the bandwidth to do this? And then also, I need to then up-manage the CFO. Can I really justify my budget request for this solution? Okay, so with that, let's move on to the financial buyer, the CFO. Okay, so the fit issue for the CFO is, okay, is a decrease in the health spend for our company or organization meaningful? Is decreasing health spend meaningful to our organization? And guess what? In a lot of organizations, the answer is no. If you're in a fast-growing, high-margin business, guess what? Decreasing the health spend is not meaningful to that organization. But if you're in a slower growing or a lower margin business, then it becomes meaningful. So just because there's a lot of waste in an employee health plan, there are going to be some CFOs in certain industries and certain companies that are like, well, it's kind of the cost to do it. Believe me, I've been in plenty of meetings where the CFO and the CEO are like, look, like I hate our health plan, but you know what? It's kind of the cost of doing business. And they leave it alone. Like they don't care. Okay, next up, for risk is, okay, for the financial buyer, the risk is, are we going to spend more on this solution than we actually save? In other words, is it going to have a negative ROI? In other words, the solution actually has to work. Okay, so they're telling me that it's going to help control my healthcare costs. Like, it actually has to achieve that. Okay, and then the prices. Look, is there room? So let's say it actually does work. Look, do we even have room in the budget for it? So just know that when you're trying to sell, and literally, oh, by the way, you have to have different meetings with different combinations of these people. And like I said, they're not all going to line up where you have a meeting where like everybody's thinking about fit and everybody's thinking about risk and then everybody's thinking about price. It doesn't even work that way. You're going to have different people at different stages in their own mind of fit, risk, and price. And you're going to have different permutations and combinations of people in various meetings. So just know, like literally when I would do this, like I was sweating bullets. Like it was incredibly like intellectually challenging to try to manage this. And oh, by the way, there are specific solutions to each one of these 9 boxes. And for the sake of scope, I'm not going to go through the solutions for each one of these 9 boxes, but believe me, they exist. And that's the point I wanted to make today. Thank you for watching A Healthcare Z.